Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies.
We're going to go over every player on the roster that's played this year and give them grades for basically the first quarter of the season. We'll do, I guess, the first 5 games here, then 4 games. That'll give us 17 games on the season. So through 5 games, we're going to start with the quarterbacks. And we're going to start with Derek Carr. Derek Carr, 98 for 150, 65% completion percentage, 946 yards, 189 yards a game, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, taking 15 sacks. Now, if we're being honest, Derek Carr came to the Saints this summer, $150 million deal. We expected a lot. We haven't gotten a lot. And you can blame whoever you want to blame, but under 200 yards a game, 4 touchdowns in 5 games, that's just not good. None of that is good. Right now, he played good in his last game, so, I'll give him credit where credit is due. He gets a C-. A C-. We holding on to the ball too long. We're just not putting enough scoring drops together. He gets a C- now. You can put a lot of it on OC, offensive line, whatever you want to put it on, but he's just been a C- quarterback, and it is what it is. He's just been a C-. Next up, we got Jameis Winston. Came in that Packers game, couldn't hold that lead, 17-point lead. I reviewed that game. Came in against the Bucks, 1 play to an interception. He's 10 for 17, 101 yards, 1 interception. Obviously not a lot, not a big sample size. So with Jameis Winston, I'm going to give him just a C+. C+, yes, it's better grade than Derek Carr. Not saying he's played better than Derek Carr. He hasn't have enough time. That 1 interception against the Bucks, I don't really care about that. He just came in down 20 basically and just threw the ball up. That is what it is. But I think he played fairly decent against the Packers. So C+ for him, backup quarterback. That's all you need out of him. Taysom Hill. Now Taysom Hill threw 2 passes this year, 2 for 2, 21 yards. Also ran the ball 23 times, 120 yards, 5.2 yards per carry. Taysom Hill is having a really, really good year. A really, really good year in my opinion. He also has a catch, I believe, this year. Yes, 4 catches. 4 catches for, 16 yards. Need to get that yardage up. But Taysom Hill has a pretty good year this year. For me, he gets a B+. He gets a B+. When he's out there, he's always a spark. He always makes the right plays for the most part. Taysom Hill's having a really good year. I think he's a B+. One of the better players on the roster this year. Now we get to the running game. Alvin Kamara, obviously suspended for 3 games, so he only has 2 games to account for. 33 carries, 131 yards, 4.0 average, 65 yards a game. Had a pretty good game this last game. Also, had 16 catches on the year for 58 yards, or 50 yards, which is just absolutely crazy yards per catch. We need to get that up. Alvin Kamara gets a B from me. Gets a B, only 2 games, so it's going to really be hard to grade Alvin Kamara. But so far, gets a B. Really like what I see from him. I think he's going to have a breakout year still this season. Next, we go with Jamal Williams. Only played 2 games. 27 carries, 74 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. This hasn't been a good year for him. Then he came with a hamstring injury. He gets a D for me, honestly. Expected a lot more. Offensive line was pretty bad those first 2 games, but it is what it is, man. He gets a D from me, and that's just what it is. Kendre Miller, 22 carries, 74 yards. Also has 6 catches on the year, 58 yards. He's been pretty solid. You can see the burst. You can see the potential in his game. Honestly, I think he gets a C+. C+. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been like super wild. Like you got Devin A-Chain from the Dolphins. It hasn't been that, obviously. But he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been great. Just kind of okay. He's just been okay, good. There's no problem with that. That's what we get from him. We got Tony Jones Jr. who's been cut. He gets a C. It was just a, we were just waiting until Alvin Kamara came back. It is what it is with that. Adam Prentice, fullback. I don't want to let these last 2 games cloud my judgment from the first couple games. Well, I thought he played okay, but those last 2 games were pretty bad, man. Pretty bad game, like losing plays all over the place. I think unfortunately he's gonna get a D. He's gonna get a D. I wanted to give him an F, but I think those first couple games he played okay. But man, it's been pretty damn bad from Adam Prentice. I'm not gonna lie, it's been pretty bad, like terrible, actually terrible. Now we go to the receiving core. Chris Olave, man, 43 targets on the year, 25 catches, 318 yards, 12.7 average, 1 touchdown. Chris Olave, the last 2 games been pretty bad. I think he would have been the highest graded player on the roster if the last 2 games weren't pretty bad. So I'm gonna give him a B+. B+. We got to get him more involved in the offense since Ack got back. We haven't been getting him involved. Need to get him back involved in the offense. I'm giving him a B+ on the year. I think he's been really, really solid. Clear number 1 receiver in my opinion. Clear number 1 receiver. Have to get him more involved in the offense now that Ack's back. We just haven't been able to do that. Have to do that this next couple games. So B+ for Chris Olave. Next up, MT, man, 5 for 5 at games. Gotta salute that. Gotta salute that. Obviously been injured throughout the year, but he has 26 catches, 284 yards, averaging 56 yards per game. Hasn't gotten in the end zone. We need to get MT in that end zone, man. It's been a while since he's been in the end zone, but he's been really, really solid. He gets a solid, strong B from me. Strong B from Michael Thomas, man. He makes some tough catches. I think he's solidified as our second wide receiver on the team. And it's not a slight. It's not shade. It's not nothing. I think he's a really, really good number 2 receiver. Can be a number 1 in some games. Some games he's going to have to step up, be number 1 receiver. And he obviously has the capability of doing that. But I'm just happy to see Michael Thomas healthy, helping the team out. He's been really good. Then we get Rashid Shaheed. Now, this one is confusing to me. Only 21 targets on the year. Makes no sense why he has 21 targets on the year. Alvin Kamara's played 2 games, has 17 targets. Somebody make sense of that to me. Somebody make sense of that to me. Alvin Kamara has played 2 games, has 17 targets. Rashid Shaheed's played 5, has 21. That's unacceptable by Pete Carmichael. But we'll get to the coaches, obviously. But Rashid Shaheed gets a solid B- from me. B- only because, stats are low, but I can't put that on him. The targets are low as well. 21 targets. Got to get him more targets. I know it's only one ball. We got a lot of weapons, but you got to get Rashid Shaheed more targets. And he's made some big plays down the stretch to win games, to seal games. He gets a strong B- from me. In that punt return for a touchdown, obviously that helped boost his grade. Would have been a C, but the special teams does help. So he gets a B- from me, and he has a touchdown on the year from receiving. Solid year. Other receivers, not really going to get into them. They haven't played enough. Like Kirkwood and guys like that. So that's the top 3. We got that. Now, tight ends. I think the biggest disappointment on the year so far has been the tight ends. Juwan Johnson with only 12 targets on the year, 7 catches. 7 catches, 61 yards from Juwan Johnson. That's just unacceptable. This is unacceptable. It's been 5 games. That's 1 catch a game, basically. Have to get Juwan Johnson more involved in the game. We have to get these guys going. We have to get these guys going, man. He gets a... I don't want to give him a D, but he gets a D. Because it's probably not his fault. But, the production, and it just hasn't been there. It just hasn't been there. So it's a D. It's a D from Juwan Johnson. You're starting tight end. He's only played in 3 games, but still, got to be better. Got to be better. Foster Moreau also played in 3 games. 3 catches, 3 targets, 26 yards. Did pick up a touchdown this last week. He gets a B- from me, man. B- from me. Obviously, he's a backup tight end, so you're not expecting a lot. Obviously, he had a tough offseason, dealing with cancer and things like that. So just to come out, he's performed what he's been asked to. We haven't gave him a lot of targets. Like I said, 3 targets, 3 catches. 26 yards and a touchdown from your backup tight end. When you're starting tight end, barely has that at all. So, you can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at Jimmy Graham. 2 targets, 1 catch, 1 touchdown. It is what it is. Jimmy Graham's like 30. He gets a solid B from me. I'm not expecting a lot from Jimmy Graham. He scored a couple touchdowns this year. That'll be great. But I'm not expecting anything crazy from Jimmy Graham as a 3rd tight end. I think he's played well when he's been out there. Had a couple good blocks that went viral. I think he's solid. Now, that's basically done with all the quarterback skill positions. Oh, we got to get to his offensive line. We need to get to his offensive line. And let's start with Ryan Ramczyk. Now, Ryan Ramczyk is obviously one of the best players on this team, but he's just been struggling. He struggled against the Packers. I think he struggled against the Bucks. Really, really good game against the Patriots. Really, first 2 good games. I'll give him a C+. And honestly, it could be a B, but I'm grading him on Ryan Ramczyk standard. So he gets a C+ from me. Gary from the Packers beat his ass all game. It's okay. It happens. You just can't make it a weekly occurrence. He played really good against the Patriots. Really good those first 2 games. He gets a C+ from me. Think he's been solid. Needs to be better. Looking a little slower. Looking a little older. But let's see. We'll see how the season progresses. I think he's a C+ right now. We need him at an A. This team's going to be successful. We need him at an A. And then we got Cesar Ruiz. Oh, man. He signed a big deal for, I think, $44 million, if I remember correct. Not been good. He gets a D+. After the year he had last year, I expected big things from him. It's not been the same. It's just not been the same. It's just not been the same. Eric McCoy, D. Been bad this year. We invested a lot in this offensive line. And it's not been good. D. James Hurst, F. James Hurst been awful. F. Bad, terrible, garbage, F. Sorry. Trevor Penny, first 2 games, he was looking at a F-. I don't even know if that's a grade. He's bad. The last couple games, he's been picking it up. He's a C. He's a C+ for me right now. I think over the last 2 games, he might have been our best lineman. Not even like it really might be a thing. He's really, really good these last couple games. I give him a C plus. Could be an A, but those first 2 games, horrific. Like the last 3, he's probably at an A, but those first 2's at an F. So we meet him in the middle, man. He gets about a C. Gets about a C, C plus. I think that's a really, really good grade for him. Backup guys haven't played enough. And when they do play, it's an F. Like Landon Young, when he plays, it's an F. Max Garcia, when he plays, it's an F. Pete, he hasn't played enough. He's probably like a C. Now, we'll get to the defense. That was the offense. We'll get to this defense. Actually, I lied. We'll get to the defense in the next video, probably tomorrow sometime. But hey, if you're new to the channel, man, click those subscribe button, join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff. But thank y'all for tuning in once again, man. As always, this is the Boot Tragedies, and I'm out.